Hey folks, the clip that you're about to watch was taken from my third ever video, which means that unfortunately the audio quality is a little bit poor, and the video quality is not 1080p because I wasn't recording in that quality yet. That said, this clip is, in my opinion, one of the best stories that I've ever told during a speedrun, so I really felt like I needed to make it into a video, so I think you'll enjoy it. It's just, unfortunately, the quality's not the best, but hopefully it doesn't detract from the actual quality of the storytelling.
We're going to take a minor detour over here. I'm pretty sure there's a rare. I remember this because, you know what? Story time. So this is one of the few rares that I actually know it exists because I used to play on Wormrest Accord. And, it's an interesting server. Let me say that. But Wormrest Accord is known for being an RP server, and it's probably one of the more serious RP servers out there. Now, while I know Moonguard is generally considered to be the ERP spot, there's a lot of stuff that happens on Wormrest too. So, funny thing about this cave, I'll just quickly explain something very briefly. I don't think I can show it, but back in Warlords of Draenor, which is when I played there was a glitch that you could use with Seesaw. So, yeah, Darkmoon Seesaw. So basically, if I used this on this cliff here, jumped through it, and then exited at the right angle. I'm pretty sure they've hotfixed it completely, but you used to be able to place it halfway in a cliff, and if you entered it and then exited it, you could skip through walls. And that was actually a strat that me and my friends used a lot back when we did challenge modes. A lot of my friends are like former like literal world first challenge mode players. I was not. I had golds and I had like server first times, but I was by no means like world first for challenge modes. I would just play with my friends every now and then, but they had their own team and they like literally had all the world first time. So they showed me all of like their crazy world first strategies and stuff. And that's where I found out about the seesaw trick. It was relatively unknown, unless you were doing challenge modes. But you could basically clip through walls by using the seesaw. So right there where I put the seesaw, what you can't really tell is there's actually like a gap in between the top of that mountain and the top of like the cave model. So if you get through that wall, you can sit on the roof of the cave and stare down through a transparent like ceiling into the cave, and the roof of the mountain is like still covered. So you're basically hidden in this little gap. It's like a little attic of the cave, and you can see everything going on inside it.
Okay, so while I was in the process of editing this, I went ahead and I was like, wait, can I actually demonstrate this trick? Because I never got a chance to do that when I actually originally recorded this almost a year ago. So, as I explained, the seesaw trick does not work. So what used to happen is you would hop on this seesaw here, and you can see my character is clipped into the wall, like so. Before, when you would click this button to exit the seesaw, you would exit on the side that I'm currently sitting on. So you would clip through the wall. They fixed it, so now when you hit exit, you bounce over here, where you entered. So that way, you can't do the skip. However, after doing a bit of surveillance on this little rock, I noticed something strange. There's a slight gap between the textures of this mountain and this cave. So, with use of Heroic Leap, I can do the same exact thing, which is awesome because I didn't think that I could do this. So now, I can demonstrate the exact thing that I was talking about in this video. It's like a one-way window. You can drop stuff here. See, if I walk forward, I'll fall through. I'll put down a Toberod Searchlight. Okay, so we can very clearly see that the Toberod Searchlight is placed, and I can see right past it to the ground below. But if I jump through here and land in the cave, suddenly when I look up, there is no Toberod Searchlight. So that is exactly the scenario that I am describing that happened here in this cave. We managed to clip, using the seesaw before when it worked, into this little area back here, which, thankfully, I'm so glad Heroic Leap works like this. I love Heroic Leap. I can clip in here and demonstrate that there is this little area that you can look down and see everything that's going on. So, the Blood Elves in question were in this area right here. and we were able to spy on them from this little overlook. And we could see into the cave, and they could not see up to where we are located. God, I am so happy that I managed to figure this out.
And this is really stupid, by the way, but this guy on Wormrest Accord, I was not an RPer really. I had friends who were RPers. I mostly played there because the community is really good. I think a lot of people there are really nice, and I will say, even though I don't RP myself, it's really cool just walking around like the main cities like Silvermoon and stuff and seeing so many people talking and like RP stuff. It's just it's a nice vibe, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's just really cool. It's something that you can't really get anywhere else in World of Warcraft. Just players creating their own story content, really. So I thought that was really interesting. And I played there for a while. And one of my friends was a RPer who was like relatively well known. I mean, all I know is they had like a bunch of friends and stuff. And there was like this guy who was like a real dick. And I remember they were telling me that like this guy was stalking them and just giving them tons of shit and stuff like that. So I was just like, you know what? Let me mess with this dude. So me and some other like friends, we were all in like the same guild. We all decided that we were gonna like see what this guy was doing. So I think we were all at this one like RP event. Like they invited me, and like I said, I don't RP much, but it was like I was in the guild, I would hang out, and sometimes if they're like, oh, we're having like this RP party, you should just hang out. So I went over there and I just hung out, I guess. And we noticed that that guy was like talking to some blood elf chick in like I think it was like a party in Silverman, if I remember correctly. He was like basically flirting with her in like obviously the most cringe way possible. I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult our peers. I know this does not reflect everybody. Like I said, many of my friends like role playing, but there are some people out there, and this guy was very, very, very cringe in the way that he was like just kind of like hitting on this random blood elf chick. So I forget how like it even progressed from there, but basically we were kind of like following him from a distance. So we had like these little toys, like you can have the little RC like cars or whatever, like Crash and Thrash and Racer controllers. And I think I was using my Iron Starlet. So what I could do is I could basically stand like really far away so he wouldn't see me. And then I could use my Iron Starlet and drive it up to like a corner around where he was standing. So he had no idea, but we were basically spying on him. I know that sounds kind of fucked up, but remember, this guy was like actively stalking and harassing my friend, which was the main reason we did it, more to like kind of fuck with him because it's like, don't mess with my friends. So we were all kind of like messing around with him. And then we, whatchamacallit, we kind of followed him all the way out here to Loch Modan from Silvermoon City, for the record. It was all the way up there. And for some reason, he flew out there under the pretense, if I remember correctly, of like showing this blood elf chick his secret hideout where they could have some more privacy. God, I can't even say that. So he leads her all the way out into this cave in the middle of Loch Modan. And yeah, I mean, I won't go into all the little details, but basically when we got there, we figured, hey, like I think one of my friends like was recording. Obviously, I only just recently started doing YouTube stuff, but he was recording stuff like through, I guess, OBS or whatever video editing software he uses. So he was like, oh man, we should get in close to like be able to like see like what they're doing. And I was like, I mean, they're going to notice us if we get really close. And obviously, I don't think he had like any of my Iron Starlet pets or whatever. So he was unable to like do the same like, surveillance things that I was doing. So I said, well, I know from challenge modes that there's this trick that you can use to clip through walls. I wonder if we're able to clip through the roof of the cave. So I tried it and it worked. You're able to clip through the roof of the cave. So I forget exactly when we got in there. I think at one point they both said that they were going AFK. So I was like, okay, let's go. And then I went in there, I put down the seesaw, and we clipped into the roof. And they could not see our nameplates at all. So we're both sitting there, just chilling on top of this little platform. It's basically like a one-way window, like you see in all those like police movies. where, you can see the subjects, but they can't see you. I had no idea it was going to work like that. Honestly, I didn't even think it would work, but it was perfect. And we're just sitting up there. And of course, ERP, for people who don't know what that means, erotic roleplay ensues. And, I mean, I don't want to sit there and watch that. it's, um, it's not the, most enjoyable thing to watch two people trying to simulate sex through chat in a game. It's very awkward, to say the least. So what we started doing was just basically pretending that we were ghosts, and we'd be like, "Ooh, so and so, you're being haunted for harassing other blood elves in Silvermoon City. Ooh, repent for your crimes." And then eventually, after 15 minutes of this, the blood elf chick finally just said, "Okay, fuck this. I don't know what's going on, but I'm out of here." And she left. And the guy was livid. I mean, he was whispering us, and he was like, "Fuck you. Why are you doing this? Man, who are you?" But he didn't see us. He had no idea where we were. So he could hear us typing in /say, but he couldn't see where the chat boxes were coming from. He only saw it in his chat window. And you could see him desperately flying around the entire mountain trying to see where it was coming from. And he could not find us at all. I'm pretty sure we drove him completely insane because of that. But yeah, that's a little interesting story about how I made an RP stalker lose his mind through that specific cave with the rare mob down there in Loch Motan. Almost completely forgot about it, but it came back to me because that's a story that obviously is hard to show without all of the exact dialogue, but it was absolutely hilarious to me, at least. The whole just absolute absurdity of it. I think that's probably one of the just dumbest, craziest things that I've ever done in this game. But frankly, that's one of the reasons why RP servers are fun. You can't find that anywhere else. Things like that. But also just, as much as I say it is very cringe, it's hysterical watching people trying to ERP in this game. Like I said, no offense to people who actually enjoy that. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I don't want to see it. So, I wasn't 100% sure if that's where that was going when he led this blood elf into his cave. Maybe he's role-playing as a Twilight cultist and he's trying to convert her into his order or something. I don't know. All I know is he was harassing my friend. I didn't know that he was trying to lure blood elves into his secret cave in Loch Motan to have, online sex with them. But, yeah. That's where it ended up going.